Fuck. Oh, so I was at Winch's house putting up mounting a TV in a shelving unit. Had this thing with me, cutting through a piece of plastic, right? Her daughter and her making noise, so I turn, and that goes right into there,
Oh shit!
all the way to the bone. My wife's like, "Are you gonna
You
get
gotta turn
stitches
your
this
mic
time?"
on, Clack. Now we good to go.
My wife's like, "You gonna get stitches this time?" No.
I'll
Why am I gonna go to the hospital and get like a $3,000 bill just for them to thread up my finger?
be right back. I'm gonna share this stuff while I make a run right quick.
Okay.
You live?
Live?
Yeah, you live.
Oh,
What's going on, y'all?
oops.
What's up, Anna?
I was supposed to have this prepared before.
Gutter Black. I'm finna say, I'll be right back.
Gutter, what's up? What's up, y'all?
Hey everyone, how we doing? How we doing? Been a little bit. I ain't been here in 2 weeks. You were here more recently than I was.
I think the last show I was on, I had my daughter on.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so that was
About
been
2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
it's been about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa and Hanukkah, and I'm forgetting a couple other ones too.
Happy holiday.
Yeah, happy holidays, man. We just
I
gonna sum
can't
it all
keep up with all the.
We just gonna sum it all up.
I can't even keep up with my family's birthdays. Ask me
What's
what.
up, Dr. Bajoni?
Ask me what birthday my wife's is. I don't know.
Oh man, you live saying that.
It's on my phone somewhere. I get a week ahead notice. I am a horrible husband. I'm pretty sure.
Huh? No, don't say that, bro. I don't believe that.
Okay, I am horrible at remembering things like a husband should. There we go. We'll say that.
Okay, you got some new space. I need to clean my glasses. Like I'm sitting.
Oh,
Here.
these are just blue light filters because I spend my entire day in front of a computer.
Okay. Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
My migraines, they put me out for like a week or two, and I'm tired of pissing off Mickey.
Okay, all right.
But I did want to bring up something because it's the new year, and a lot of folks, new year, new me, or a lot of folks got in trouble over the holidays, and now they're single. And it's on Flint Politics Reboot. Someone shared it. I can't remember who. I'd love to give credit to them. That Flint, Michigan, has the highest amount of domestic abuse in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk about what that abuse looks like, who it affects the most, and then the best ways to avoid it, as in red flags and people that you're looking at dating, or things that you can work on yourself. Because I know I throw up a red flag or two.
Yeah. Well, domestic abuse, like domestic violence in itself, is like such a broad, topic all in itself. Like, like of course, man, woman fight domestic abuse. That's definitely, under the spectrum, so to speak, under the umbrella. But also father son, get into it, mother son, mother daughter, that's also domestic violence as well.
Yeah.
So, there's uh such a broad definition, so to speak, of domestic violence. So, but that goes hand in hand with the human trafficking too. You know what I mean? Because Flint has the highest, if not one of the highest, if not the highest rate in the state as well. I mean, well, Genesee County. So, it's all in it. Domestic violence, domestic abuse, trafficking, all of it is here in Genesee County.
Yeah. And you and I spoke about this offline about a year ago. Where I grew up, I've had several friends go missing,
right,
and they could have very well come through the Flint pipeline. I mean, it's weird. One day you're sitting in class and you're talking with your friend. In my case, I was talking with a girl I had a crush on, and I never saw her again. And her family came to the school asking, "Have you seen her?" We got a note saying she was kidnapped. She lived across the border, and never heard from her again. It really just kind of kick in the teeth,
Yeah, no, it's sad, and it's as much as people don't think that it might affect them or might not be in close proximity. It is here, like it happens, and it's here. So
I mean, the Genesee County Sheriff's Department under Sheriff Swanson. I think it was before him, but he's really pushed it forward. The human trafficking task force that he
The
has,
Ghost.
Ghost.
I'm actually a sworn agent of Ghost. Like I went through the little training program, and
They do a hell of a job, don't they?
yeah, they really do. He's known for that though. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like they do some pretty good work. Um, I honestly I haven't had any dealings with with the ghost thing or whatnot, but I did go through the training and did become certified. So it's pretty cool. But that's just to prove that you can take the class. Anybody can take the class. But yeah, it's so prevalent that they're asking for citizens to get involved.
Well, like Cochise County, where I did most of my growing up, I moved around a lot as a kid.
Mhm.
And that's right on the border. And as someone who grew up there and now is living here, I can honestly say that Cochise County should be taking notes off of Sheriff Swanson's Ghost program.
No, there's a lot of counties that should be taking notes off Sheriff Swanson's ghost program. Yeah.
El Paso County, Colorado, as well,
Mhm.
because well, the the police there are too busy dealing with drunk soldiers. Hi guys, I'm sorry.
Don't be snitching on the guys.
All right, but the sheriff's department was honestly out and about, absolutely everywhere, and I don't think they quite got that training. But let- let- so getting back toward a topic, I've actually been a victim of domestic abuse.
Really?
Mhm. My prior marriage, and then another time was with a female I was dating and living with. Both times I was in the army. So the female I dated, it was before my first marriage. It was emotionally abusive and manipulative.
Mhm.
Um, being told if I didn't bring home a certain amount of money, I would be single, and the stress that put on me. Or she called the cops on me once, not because of anything except I had borrowed her car that morning with her permission,
Mhm.
and I wasn't back 15 minutes sooner than when she wanted me back. So she called the cops, reported the car stolen. I'm like, nope, I'm done. You know, that much stress in that relationship really screwed me up for a while. I think I stayed single for a year and a half after that because I didn't want to put myself in a relationship where I was that vulnerable again.
Mhm.
And then right after that, I got married to the next female I dated, and she was also emotionally abusive. She used my career against me. She was overspending the money I was working. She wasn't. She decided to just run my bank account into the ground every month. So I took my bank card away. She called my chain of command.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I got in trouble for that. Another time, she got drunk, started beating the hell out of me. I didn't defend myself. Well, I did. I curled up into a ball because I know what happens.
Mhm.
The cops are
You go
still
to
called.
jail. Yeah.
Yeah, cops are still called. They saw me, a bloody, bruised, beaten mess. They saw her without even a hair on her head messed up. They knew I didn't do anything, but they still had a procedure. I had to go away. So they took me to base and I had to live in the barracks until things got resolved. And my chain of command heard about it. And the way the army works is, was there an incident? Was there impact to our lives? If there's two yeses there, the soldier has to go through domestic counseling.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, it was bad.
I abuse my. I'm pretty after mass whoopings I took by my mom and dad when I was growing up. Can be designated as he shouldn't have been. You can't use that to whoop your kids with, But it's all in all. I think just getting off on a side note. I think that being able to. I don't want to say the wrong thing. What is it?
Being able to
Corporally
corporally
punish. Yeah,
discipline your
discipline
children
your children. I think that's part of the problem. Like can't really. I mean, you can. I have
until someone hears about it.
until someone hears about it. Like, but I remember sometimes I couldn't even go. I couldn't sit down at school some days. You know what I mean? Like, it took me a minute to sit down. Like, there were some
Mhm.
days, like, yeah. So, um, I was just being funny, but yeah.
No. And Chris, I don't know how it sounds, but at the same time, I'm not gonna intimidate the females I'm with now. My wife, my current wife, I'm not gonna intimidate her so she doesn't lay a hand on me because that's
Mhm.
wrong in and of itself.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to say more men go through this than are willing to admit it. And here's the thing, right? This isn't just a man thing. Obviously, we all know about the abuse that females go through in some relationships.
Hmm.
And I can only sympathize with them thanks to my experiences. You know, coming home and putting in a 12 to 14-hour workday. House is a mess. I have to clean that. Then I have to cook for myself, my wife, and my stepchild. Then I have to take the dog out. Then I have to bring the dog in, wash the child, and get the child to bed. Then do the dishes. By that time, it's time for bed for me. I have had no time to relax, but her ass had left an imprint in my brand new couch because she would not move. That in and of itself was stressful.
Hmm.
And then the extra pushing onto my career, calling my chain of command constantly, then the pushing on my finances, and then not knowing if she was going to come home and be in a drunken rage and try to start a fight with me, which I cannot physically defend myself. The second you even blink at her wrong, you're the one in handcuffs because you're the bigger, stronger one, right? Like, we have to talk about this, and especially going into the new year because there are so many young men and young women
Hmm.
right now who are okay. It's a new year, new me. I've been single for so long. It's time to go out and find someone. Or so many that end up one way or another being single, and now they're looking for someone. And there's a lot of red flags that come up,
Yeah.
and we don't really want that going on further. You know, what little we can do, we should do, especially talking about it and trying to educate our fellows because Flint is already in a bad spot.
Hmm.
Michigan is already in a terrible spot with the Gremlin.
Hmm.
Let's try to fix it up in the little ways we can.
I agree. Um, it's just it's definitely an uphill battle when we're lacking money, we're lacking resources, we're lacking you know it's like it kind of reminds me of like those guys that used to throw rocks at the tanks that we used to watch back in the 80s and 90s, and it's like you want to fight, but you doing the best that you can with
Hmm.
what you got. All they had was rocks, so they weren't doing very much, but so
Yeah. Tiananmen Square definitely attests a brick does not beat a tank.
no, definitely. So yeah, what's up, Miss Woods? What's up, everybody?
So, what are some red flags that you try to avoid when you're in the dating world?
Well, it's been a while since I've dated, but
Right?
I don't really like for people to dictate my day or
Mm,
dictate, like dictate. Don't and I really don't like when I don't really like when people push off their, you know, I guess their different beliefs on to me, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like we
yeah.
got certain things that we share, obviously that we have in common, but you know, um, I don't know if I don't like certain things or if I like certain things. Don't shame me or scold me because I like something or just I guess everybody got to compromise. So
Yeah, right? Like, I I can definitely agree with that. And then there's like another side to it as well. So, if I have a particular interest in a thing and she's never heard about it before and she tries it, all right,
mhm.
that's cool. If we find something in common, great. But don't do absolutely everything I do, and don't basically base your entire personality off of things that I do or things
Right,
that I
right,
like.
right, right.
I want you to go out and be your
Be
own
yourself.
person.
Yeah.
I want to date not me, for one. And for two, even though we're in a relationship, I like to have a little bit of space to myself. There has to
Mhm.
be that separation between the relationship, the work, and the self.
Right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of where they can all overlap, but at the same time, you don't want one going too far into the other. Just like working relationships are hard. And you know what? I got to give it up to the couples that can work together and not have it come home and ruin everything.
I was just about to say that. Like, how do you feel about that? Because I don't think I could do it. Like, and maybe a side hustle, but going to work 9 to 5 and then going home 5 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So when I first got out of the army, I worked 7-Eleven. My girlfriend, now wife, was also working at that 7-Eleven.
oh man,
When we were both cashiers on different shifts, it was fine. Then she got promoted to be my manager.
yeah. So
Now,
she got the choose the schedule. And she
oh man.
yeah.
Number one, I could not hide. So someone calls off, guess who's getting that call to come in? I couldn't say no, I'm out of town and lie, right? The second part of it was because of, she was working first shift, I was working second or third. If I screwed up something at work, I'd hear about it at home. If I screwed up something at home, I'd hear about it at work.
Right.
Thankfully, um, I ended up being asked to leave, not even fired, but like, hey, you can't work for your girlfriend, which at that time we were technically common law married, so you can't work for your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go to another store? No, because I can't guarantee another store would work around my school schedule. So I'm just going to quit here. Thank you guys. It was great. I really enjoyed the horrible experience of 7-Eleven. It was rough, and we had to create some boundaries there. Like, okay, my third day off, you can hit me for the first two. That third one, we're pretending I'm like in Guatemala or some shit. You can't get a hold of me until you come home.
Yeah. That's the worst job you ever had?
No, GameStop was.
I worked at GameStop too.
GameStop was absolutely terrible.
I worked at GameStop in Portsmouth, Virginia when I was going to school, like at Norfolk State. Like it was cool. Like I would like it was I kind of like GameStop.
Like
I
worked there.
Madden tournaments.
I worked there as soon as I got out. So November 21st, 2014 is when I started. Right around the corner was Black Friday.
Yeah.
That ramp up was a no-go.
Yeah.
I think I only worked there for 3 weeks. I was only a seasonal worker, and they're like, we liked your charisma, we liked your drive and your go-to. We didn't like that you would shame some customers on their choice of games. We cannot have you stay on, because I was making fun of like 45-year-old men buying My Little Pony games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I got
when you work places like that, you do you see some weird stuff.
Yeah. So no, I got asked not to return.
The worst job I've ever had. I don't know. When I first moved back to Houston, I was going door to door selling AT&T, like Uverse, the fiber optic service.
High pressure commission sales.
Yeah. And I was in like I was living in Houston, but I would ride my motorcycle out to Friendswood, which is probably, I don't know, 20, 30 miles, going towards Galveston.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one day, I only worked there like 3 or 4 days. Like the one day, the last day I knocked on the door and I recognized that there was like a beehive. It wasn't even beehive. They were wasps or yellow jackets or something. I don't even know what they were, but
they said hello.
Yeah.
And you said goodbye.
Yeah. So yeah, that was probably like the worst job I ever had. Or selling good news journals. Like they used to sell these like no newspapers in the middle of the street. Me and my cousin used to dance. it was funny back in the day. But yeah. What's up, y'all? We just talking.
Another red flag I can think of, and all right. So you're dating a girl who has kids, or a girl's dating a guy that has kids, right? If within those first 3 months they want you around that kid, there may be an issue.
Yeah. Like there's a certain.
You need to make sure the person that you're bringing into this kid's life potentially is, like they have their head on straight. They're stable. They're not a psychopath, and that takes time to suss out.
That's already assuming that you've already Googled them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like you can't just bring people around your kids. Like
no.
there's this, and then even if they are okay, it's like, criminally okay and mentally okay, it's still like I gotta know that I'm okay
Hmm.
with you to and we could I don't know. There's just this
Like one of the positive things my wife did is when she moved in with me, she said, "You will not meet my kids until I'm sure of you. My kids are going to be staying in Flint while she moved in with me in Colorado."
mhm,
And I did not get to meet those children for a year. And that was when she decided, okay, I have sussed almost as much out about this dude as I can.
yeah,
I know he's not going to hurt my kids. I know he's not going to be crazy around my kids. I know he's not going to do X, Y, Z, blase, blase.
mhm,
So now I'm a stepfather. But I've met one chick. I think I dated her for like 2 weeks. The first thing she wanted me to do was come inside and meet her daughter.
nah,
And then, like 3 days later, she's telling me about an interaction she had with her daughter. She's like, "That's possibly your new stepdad."
nah,
Nuh-uh.
no,
We are done on this one. I will see you later. It is nice meeting you.
yeah, yeah, no, we not, no, that's nah,
I hope you
that's not,
enjoyed dinner.
that's yeah, no, but there are definitely certain red flags, like as far as that wasn't, I guess, as far as domestic violence related, is that what you?
Well, like it could be, but domestic violence or say emotional or financial abuse, right? So say she or in our case we'll say she, right? But just take it at your own leisure, folks, whoever you may date. They don't have a job and they refuse to get one and they never want to get one, so they're constantly financially liable on you.
Mm-hmm,
That's a financial abuse on you.
mm-hmm,
Because now the entire burden of living for you and now another human being is on your back. That's insane. Like what are they doing to earn this kind of lifestyle? Are they keeping up with the house? Or are they just like off onto the side? Are they, you know, are they fiscally responsible with your money as well? Or are they just going out on clothes shopping sprees or game shopping sprees, whatever, and just throwing your money away? And now your bills aren't getting paid. And you're looking at a possible eviction. You're looking at a hit to your credit,
mm-hmm,
which that's a lifetime hit.
mm-hmm.
There's so much that goes on with this. And I don't know what it is. Like when I was in my 20s, I wasn't paying attention to any of this.
Yeah,
I was paying attention to, oh, I'm in the army, so I'm going to be getting drunk. And where the easiest body is to lay,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. I'm so glad that I didn't get into credit card debt. Like, like they used to have these little stations on college campuses. Like normally they're in the eateries or in one of the classroom
Mhm.
buildings. And they would, sign up for a credit card. But I never put my real name on the application to get the little gift. I always put, some stupid on there, but I would get the little gift, whether it be a t-shirt, a little football. But that's the one
Sometimes like a
thing.
discount coupon,
Yeah,
save you
yeah,
like
yeah,
$5 on
yeah,
that burger.
yeah. So I would always like sign it. Like, I would always put like Seymour Butts or Mike Cunt or something like that, something stupid down, and I would get the
Mike
gift.
Hunt.
I would get the gift. Like I never. So I'm so thankful that that was one of the debts that I avoided was credit card debt. But one thing I did do was get. I've had pretty much every cell phone carrier that that has
Uh-huh.
had a cell phone tower. So I think
I think I like cricket the most back when they were running around.
really.
Yeah,
I
they
guess
didn't bother me as much.
it depended on what market you were in, I guess. Because if you were, I guess, Flint, I was living in Houston at the time when
Oh, I was
cricket was up
Colorado
in.
Springs. There are only
Yeah,
two
so
cell carriers that would carry the bar trail all the way up to Pikes Peak.
yeah,
Cricket and Verizon, and Verizon was expensive.
yeah, yeah. Verizon is that's who
AT&T,
I got now. Yeah, they're
T-Mobile, and
still
all them,
expensive.
they were you couldn't contact anyone if you were in that gully. So like on
Yeah,
a platoon march, like, oh yeah, everyone wear your sieves. We're going up bar trail. If someone falls and there's no one with one of these two carriers around, it's going to be a bad day.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was a bad day when Rios fell, and I think he tore his groin muscle.
Up
It-
on Pikes Peak.
yeah, it was like February, so it was all iced out.
Yeah.
He stepped in one area and he did the cartoon, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and his legs did splits. Like I
Yeah, I've
love
been.
Rios to death, but that was the funny. Well, actually, no,
I think it's a try. We took a trolley up Pikes Peak, or like a little train or something.
yeah,
Yeah, like we
yeah,
took a
right
little.
where that train starts. If you were looking at the mountain, you turn right. There's a massive ass staircase in the hill that
Uh-huh.
is the incline. I did that once a month, every month. That is a 1 mile staircase cut into the side of the mountain.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I did that with 20 pounds on my back.
I'm good.
Oh, that was a fun time.
I'm good.
You get to the top and you smuggle a beer up there. You have one real quick, and that altitude makes that beer hit quick.
Oh, look at Shanetta said she worked at Tiger for 4 hours and left on a break. I worked at FedEx it was like 2.5 days I left on my break. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning shift. You go in at 3 o'clock in the morning. This was like I was in college, man. I was at 3 o'clock, I was just getting ready to go to bed. So like yeah, it was not a good fit for me. I quit on my break too, but that was you got me by 4 hours though.
I worked for Event Link for 2 weeks when I first moved up here, which it wasn't a bad job. It was just you didn't have regular hours. You only came in and worked like the warehouse or the event when they called you.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you didn't kiss up or you didn't like make yourself super invaluable, indisposable within your first like hour, you weren't getting any more work.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm driving 2 hours down here. Well, no, it's like an hour. It's in Sterling Heights. I'm
Yeah,
driving
that's
an
like
hour
an hour.
down here to drive an hour back to get this puny ass paycheck.
Yeah.
And then you're not calling me most weeks. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Going to the GM Proving Grounds was cool though. Got to see some cool cars. I got to drive an electric car.
I saw a car yesterday at the car wash, like where the front wheel and the back wheel was turning.
Say what?
Like the front wheel, like they were turning into the front
Oh.
wheel and the back wheel turned so that they could turn into it was like an electric, like Mercedes Benz.
Oh yeah, where they both go like
They
that.
both turn. I was like, man, like I was looking like, man, what?
That's kind of cool.
It was weird though, because I was just sitting there. I was pulling in the parking spot, and I'm looking at her, and both the wheels were turning. That was weird. It was cool though. Yeah, I don't know.
I was going down because my daughter's dating a new boy, and he doesn't live in Flint. He lives like 30 minutes south of us.
Uh-huh.
He's an all right kid. I have yet to want to drop kick him out my front door, so we're already on the right track, right? And so I drive down there with her to pick him up, bring him up to Flint. They spend the day together, and then I drive him back down. This most recent time, I was driving him back up, or bringing him back up here, and this Jaguar cuts me off. Right? I mean, they're just cutting traffic. This dumb mother decided to cut in front of a dually. And this dude in the dually said, nope, hit the gas real quick, clip the back of the Jaguar.
Yeah.
And spun off the road. I'm like,
I want a dually.
Huh?
I want a dually.
Dude. Yeah. If I ever get myself like 5 to 10 acres of land, I want one.
Yeah, I want a dually.
Until then,
I don't even do work hard enough to need a dually. I just want a dually.
That's you're right.
I just want a dually.
Have yourself a big ass truck if you want to, or a teeny tiny little like smart car if you want. Just that no.
No, I think my I don't know. I want to. There's certain when I get like certain milestones I need to meet. Like when I turn 45, I'm gonna get a Corvette. Or
not an old school Camaro.
No, I'm gonna get that before.
Okay.
Because that's now nowhere near as much, but I'm gonna get the old school Camaro though. Like I was this close to buying it, but I had to get the motorcycle. But
something about old muscle cars, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I was afraid of it. I ain't gonna lie. I was afraid of it.
But you weren't afraid of a two-wheel.
No, I've been riding bikes since I was 19. I mean, I've been driving cars since I was 12, 13, but I'm just saying, like, this car.
When it comes to motorcycles, you have to know your limits, right? I knew my tiny ass could not sit on a 1200. A 1200 would throw me around, especially at the time I was riding. I was 120 pounds
Well, it depends. That might be a fun ride. Like that's
for the 30 seconds until it bucks me.
you don't have to give it full throttle. You can wait till you get on the highway and hit a wheelie.
Not on a
120
Harley.
pounds. Yes, you can. I've ridden next to
My
people.
120-pound ass.
I've
trying
ridden
to
next to
trying to
people
ride a
that
wheelie.
I've ridden next to people that have done wheelies on the highway on a Harley.
Nah, I couldn't do it. And what do you mean you don't have to hit full throttle? It's a Harley. That V twin. No, good sir.
No, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I did. I love my Harley.
I mean, my 883 was enough for me, and I enjoyed the hell
Yeah,
out
see,
of that.
you had a Harley.
Yep. What do you mean? Don't have to hit full throttle?
I mean, you don't have to.
That-
Like, I mean,
That's
you know.
like, all right. We're both dads. We're both older than 30.
Mhm.
You know, when you're barbecuing and you pick up the tongs, you know how you have to click them twice?
Mhm.
It's the same thing with the Harley. You have to hit full throttle.
I mean, I'm just saying it's some. I mean,
That's like man law. You're on a bike, you have to hit full throttle at least twice a day.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah.
And where I was living,
I'm
was no
but
highway.
like it's crazy because I'm the guy. I may not look like it now, but I'm the guy that used to get on the highway and do a wheelie from here to Saginaw. Like I'm the guy that.
Ah,
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I was.
I was always too intimidated by mine to try to do anything crazy. Like it was just speed and ducking traffic.
Yeah, no, I. What's the fastest you've ever been on a bike?
God, I think my odometer topped out at 110.
Oh man, you ain't riding.
My odometer topped out at 110. I don't know what happened after
You
that.
ain't riding. So I used to ride a lot of sport bikes though.
Yeah,
So
no.
I just got
I've
into
never been on
Harleys.
a crotch rocket.
Yeah, so I got my first crotch rocket when I was 19. So speed has been my thing. So like the fastest I've ever been, and I've topped my speedometer topped out at 196.
Yeah, Harleys don't do that.
Nah,
Harleys say 110, and then you kind of guess from there.
yeah, no. There was a time when I used to be kind of wild. There's a club in Houston, a 10-minute club, and it's like you can like there's if you can complete the 610 loop.
The loop,
Yep, and
business loop.
yep, if you can do that in 10 minutes, but you got to average like 175 miles an hour or something like that.
You know, no one with a Harley is making that.
No,
That's a sport bike guy.
no, it's definitely a higher displacement sport bike is
Yeah.
you're gonna be needing.
A buddy of mine in the army, Bentham, he had this Kawasaki Ninja, and I don't know why. I'm not a mechanic, so I can't explain it. But the back tire was out further than the frame.
Yeah, he stretched the frame, he stretched the swing arm so he could keep the front end down when he comes out the whole shot.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still alive. Now he's living in Sweden. No, Finland.
Yeah.
He's living in Finland right now
I've
with his
had
wife, and he's having a grand old time.
I've had a few stretch bikes. I've never. I'm just gonna stop talking because I'm snitching on myself right now.
Stop snitching.
Yeah, stop snitching.
Oh.
But no, I've done a lot of racing. Whether not a lot of racing in cars, a lot of street racing and motorcycles in my day.
So, ladies and folks with daughters, that right there is what we call red flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Yeah, dude, pull up on a motorcycle. Yeah.
Motorcycle is fine. How he converts himself on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like, do you want your daughter on the back of that bike while he's trying to do a
That's
wheelie?
another thing. Like I never really was the person to have somebody on the back of my bike. I just never really was. You never hardly would see me pull up.
Oh,
I can count on two hands, out of 19, let me see, no, 24 years out of riding, how many times I've had someone on the back of my bike. I just know I'm an aggressive rider. So
I loved having females on the back of my bike, mainly because if I hit my brakes hard enough, I'd feel them squish up against me. And me being 19, I was like, hey, boobs.
yeah, no, it was. I just knew I was at any point I might,
Yeah.
hit a wheelie or.
And
hit a
I've
stop
seen
and
too
yell.
many videos of guys pulling a wheelie, their girlfriend falling off and getting road
Yeah.
rash.
Yeah, so I don't know. Let's switch it up because I feel like I'm snitching on myself.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Mickey.
there's a walking red flag. No,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah,
good
but
guy.
no, it is sad that domestic violence is so prevalent. So it's here,
Mhm.
like it's definitely here in Flint, Michigan. I won't say how I know, but there was one time that I was in the city lockup. I was talking to some people,
Mhm.
and like a lot of the people were in there. Especially for the weekend, you get a mandatory 72 hours.
Yep.
72-hour hold.
Separation and cool down time.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And there was a lot of people that were in for just simple arguments. Or somebody, next door neighbor called,
Hmm.
because they heard an argument.
If the cops show up,
Somebody's got
someone's
to
going,
go. Yeah,
and it's usually the man.
yeah. So that's one of those sticky situations. Kind of like I hate to say it, but kind of like with the with the cell phones. Like it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
Yep.
Like, if you can't leave somebody with this situation, you can't leave somebody there when they might be in
Mhm.
physical harm. Um, but then again, there's a lot of times somebody might be playing the victim when they not might necessarily be the victim.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Or crying wolf, so to speak.
Yeah. Like
And it's hard
when it
for an
happened to me,
officer.
I got lucky.
Yeah,
Army said we have a place for you to put them
yeah,
that doesn't involve the bracelets,
yeah,
and we will do our own investigation. And you know, even though the cops called first sergeant and said, "Here's what's happening. Your soldier has not touched anyone.
yeah,
We still have to remove him.
yeah,
Do you have a spot in the barracks?" Yes. Okay. I spent several days away from my wife, mandatory, and then I spent several more voluntary away from her because that was some bullshit.
yeah, yeah,
We don't have that here. You've got a lockup.
yeah.
So, like, there are no real protections either. Even if it's just a heated argument, over something stupid like who hid the remote or whatever, and it turns into a heated argument.
But I think we're more lenient than some states like Texas. I think
Yeah,
Chris,
Chris,
you
you
were
live
from
in
Texas.
Texas.
I don't even think you can curse at a man can't even swear at his at a female, like not necessarily call her out of her name or so, but use
Fucking
profanity.
Gina.
Yeah, use profanity at all. Like I think that's how it is.
If not Texas, then definitely some counties down there.
Yeah, like
Midland County is definitely harsh on that, but Midland County has its own share of problems from being in the Permian Basin, right? Where all
uh-huh,
the oil field is.
uh-huh,
You're away from your wife a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time out in the field. You come back, you buy yourself a 30 rack because you haven't had beer in so long. And oh, hell.
yeah, yeah,
Permian Basin's got its own bullshit going on. My brother's currently there and he lives in Odessa, actually. He's seen a lot of guys go away just for shouting at their wife right after they get back. Then again, he's also seen a lot of guys go away and their wife is running around town.
But you know what? I remember taking one of my courses when I was at Norfolk State in Virginia that they still have like stupid laws on the books where like you could go and like if you could like if I can't remember, I don't want to state it incorrectly, but it was somewhere on the lines that you can beat your wife on the steps of the the courthouse between the hours of 10 and 2 on a Sunday or something like that.
Dude,
Like it
there's
was one of them
crazy
laws that
laws everywhere. Like, so one of them I know in Texas, uh, there are no sex toys.
yeah, yeah.
They're marital aids. Um, then I can tell you in Arizona, you are not allowed more than two sex toys in your house, and you cannot have a donkey in the bathtub on Tuesday. I
yeah,
don't know why Tuesday. Why so damn specific?
yeah,
Like every state's got some crazy backwards laws.
like it's and the crazy part about it is Virginia is a commonwealth, so Virginia beaches got different different guidelines or different laws than next neighboring Norfolk, which is right next door. Like you could get 30 days for driving on suspended license in Virginia Beach and get, and get 7 days in Norfolk
Mhm.
for the same thing. So, the Commonwealth is different. But I remember, one of my professors telling us that like it's a whole bunch of like goofy laws that you never would have thought that they would have taken time to sit down and try to, to pass, but they did.
I mean, religious preferences back in the day, for one. For two, cultural preferences back in the day. You got a lot of hardcore Judeo-Christian laws still on the books all over the place.
Mhm.
And like the army, adultery is something that will not only get you hemmed up, but locked up.
Man, look, when I was another story when I was in Virginia, this dude was living a couple doors down. He was over in Afghanistan or Iraq or somewhere.
Mhm.
But then he came back. He found his girlfriend or wife had moved another dude in.
Mm-hmm.
He beat the dude up, went to jail, and then when he got out, he still had to pay restitution to her.
Mhm. Yeah. So basic allowance of housing, which is the pay you get when you are married. It's not for you. It's to support your family.
Yeah, but
So while you are still married, that basic allowance of housing and basic allowance of sustenance pay go to her. And then,
doesn't she have a responsibility of staying faithful though?
not according to the army.
That's
The army the army
crazy.
has no say over your spouse. And whatever your spouse does can get you screwed up. One guy I know, and I hate to say it
Oh,
like
that
this,
wasn't even the killer. He couldn't come to the house and still had to pay. Man,
basic allowance of housing. He had to pay for that house because that's what it's for.
yeah,
But no, I know one guy, and it's unfortunate to say because I love him to death, and I'm not going to say his name because of what I'm about to say. His wife was complete white trash. I mean, she was low end, bottom shelf, bottom tier, honky donkey, right? And she would wear like, she was a rather large girl, and she would wear ill fitting clothes. She had tried wearing a halter top
that's a good
that basically
good
turned
way to
into
put it. Ill fitting.
a belly shower, and she had a belly to show. She tried wearing yoga pants, and the first time she put them on, they split. And she saw no problem walking around base like this. There are actually standards for your spouse and their dress while on base.
Yeah, but how come it's
And it
standards?
comes down on the service member because
How
the
come there's
service
no standards
itself
off
can't.
base? Like if they got to dress a certain way on base, you can't be out here doing what you want to do at my house while I'm over here fighting for the country, giving you the money, and you can. That's not fair.
No, it isn't, but no one said life is. Remember, you're the one that signed the contract. Or in my case, I'm the dumbass that signed the contract, not her.
Yeah.
So they have all the control over my ass. Hell, even now, technically, I'm still subject to UCMJ for the rest of my life. So if I were to piss off some ranking officer somewhere, which, mind you, two of my former commanding officers are now the Joint Chief of Staff for the Army and the Vice Chief of Staff for the Army. If they were to remember my name, see this, and think, oh, fuck Barry Hill, they could technically call me in or recall me, put me back in uniform, and try me under UCMJ for anything. Literally anything. My ass is theirs for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm good.
Lived in Jackson for 20 years. Oh, you poor soul.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I lived in Virginia Beach. I lived in Norfolk. I lived
Yeah,
the
you hung
whole.
around with the operator guys.
Yeah, I was with the. I remember one morning I was riding my bike to. I might have been going to Williamsburg or Hampton or somewhere across the tunnel, and there's a subway. I mean a subway. I mean a submarine.
Mhm.
A submarine. Like thing is
Same thing. It's
huge.
long as
Yeah,
cylinder.
but it's
Mhm.
huge though. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like
I think our newest nuclear attack sub is 180 feet.
yeah. No,
It's long.
This thing was in wide, like it was dudes standing on top of it, and they looked, because like well, how the tunnel goes, like
When you
you
look at
drive across the bridge
yeah,
and then you go down, and then
when you
so
looked at the back of it, did it seem flat?
the top of it seems flat, and
Nuclear
then
missile attack sub.
yeah, the top of it was flat because it was like I said, it was dudes standing on top of it. It wasn't like
Mhm.
round, like
It's not the pictures of U-boats that you're used to seeing in
in
World
the
War
yeah,
II.
no, it was like kind of flat at the top, yeah,
Yeah, no, these things are about the same size as a destroyer.
but under the water though.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember that it was a huge vessel, and it wasn't uncommon to see aircraft carriers or stuff, big boats, navy boats coming into the Chesapeake Bay or coming out of the Navy base. So it's
Um, I can't say your
the Red
first
Sea.
name.
Is that the
That's
Iran
where
attacking all
that's
the
where Iran has been doing its thing lately.
and the pirates and all that?
Yeah, they recently just put a warship there, and I'm not taking sides. I do want to say the United States has a very, very, very paranoid tradition of don't fuck with our boats.
Yeah.
I mean, go take a look at the Fat Electrician sometime, ladies and gentlemen. After this, right? He's on YouTube. He's a great historian. He's
Mhm.
also a vet. Um, he talked about how the United States fucked up the Barbary Pirates, which was 4 whole countries.
Mhm.
The Marine Corps' hymn from the shores of Tripoli. That's where that part of the hymn comes from.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yep.
dun, 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 dun,
Um,
dun.
let me see. We didn't get involved in Korea until they touched one of our boats. We didn't get involved in Vietnam until they touched one of our boats. World War I, the
Yeah,
Lithuania,
the boat
Lusitania.
got they blew up
Yep,
it was it a Red Cross boat or
it was just a passenger liner.
passenger? Okay, yeah.
Um, and then Iran really did fucked up in the 80s, and mind you, later part of the 80s. So they had a psycho in the White House called Ronald Reagan. They were at war with Iraq. XYZ. Kuwait was letting Iraq export oil using their tankers because Iran was sinking Iraq's tankers.
He said we just destroyed three
3
Houthis.
Houthi ships, one got away, all dead, and that was with a helicopter of all things, probably a Seahawk,
Man,
which can be carried on destroyers.
like I saw something the other day. Like this is
But
they
thankfully,
had wrapped up the whole boat with like razor wire
mhm.
and like was putting like decoy dudes around like to make it look like they was patrolling and like
So I would like to bring attention to the 80s when Iran accidentally mined one of our ships in uh in the Persian Gulf.
yeah.
We sank half of their navy in a 8-hour
In a
work
day,
day
yeah, in a day. I just
of idle button pushing.
yeah.
So the Houthi is one thing because that is a very decentralized organization, and they don't have large ships. And I'm glad that there is a lot less.
Yeah, I went to Norfolk State University.
I'm glad that there was a lot less loss of life than there could have been. I always hope for none though.
Mhm.
Um, but the Seahawk is a purpose-built helicopter, utility helicopter that they've
That's the
decided
one
to.
with the long thing in the front, the gas thing.
No, that's
Okay.
think of a Black Hawk,
Yeah.
but underneath the rotor, it's got 2 jet engines, and then they throw 2 little stubby wings on it for Hellfire and missiles and Hydra rockets.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a very scary tubby B word. Um, I can only hope that things start to de-escalate sooner rather than later because with U.S. warships operating in the area, there's a lot less room for finding out.
Mhm.
The find out bar is very low.
Mhm.
Um, and
Yeah,
honestly,
I saw something about that. I saw somebody was talking about that, and I was watching it. They were talking about Iran sent out. They were
one of their
messing.
warships,
Yeah, they sent
and
out
I
and
think looking at
three.
the
There was
profile,
like 3 teams of with one Marine and one special forces, and and they all were like dispatched, and they tried to save the last one, but it was too late. I guess they had already engaged. I guess, but I don't know. I remember watching this not too long ago.
Yeah.
Though.
Wait, you're talking about recent or
No,
80s?
back in the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
3 task force groups. Each one had 2 destroyers and 1 surprise ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
I saw
SEALs.
I saw something about that. It was about a month and a half back.
Man, yeah. Was it a kind of chubby white dude with a goatee talking about it in a really kind of humorous tone, kind of condescending?
Yeah. He
The
was
fat
kind of making a
electrician.
joke about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first guy jumped on the 25 millimeter
Yeah, and he kind
anti-aircraft
of
gun.
blew them. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah,
He auditioned for the role of main character. He didn't make it. However, he did make it to the credits as Lonely Mist Man #1.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's the dude. Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he was kind of like laughing and joking about it, but he was telling the real story of what actually happened.
Mhm.
So
He
yeah,
does that a lot. Look up Sergeant Reckless, a Marine horse. Mind you, when I'm giving Marines props, that must have been something fucking awesome. They went and bought a horse to go do some cool stuff in Korea.
Hmm.
Also, looks like Meat and Freaks Barbecue has something else for you.
Oh, that's what's up. My next door neighbor went to Nesman. He played football. He's matter of fact, he played quarterback. He's the dude that broke my pinky. We played semi-pro together after college. Yeah, he went to Nesman River. I lived out in I lived out on Airline in Portsmouth, right by going towards Suffolk.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Also, so speaking of fat electrician and some of his videos, the Korean horse was one of my favorites. And then he recently put one out about the limping lady, the most dangerous spy of World War II.
Mhm.
This woman decided her master plan to bring down Nazi Germany was to be friends with the whorehouse and the owner operator and give the Nazis gonorrhea and STDs and then get them addicted to opium
Wow.
in France, which is gnarly.
Yeah.
Leave the
Wow.
World Behind, produced by Barack and Michelle. Listen to every word. We'll see. Me and Netflix don't get along lately.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my membership.
Oh, no, I just ever since Netflix put Cuties out, even though there was a different message behind it, which is this is how young girls are influenced, just some of the dancing there kind of like, why would you ever have young girls dance like that on camera? Freaked me the hell out.
Yeah, there it is a lifestyle, but it's just that's some new millennium. I'm more old school as a parent. I'm more old school as a man. I don't
That hit
particularly
me
care
like
for.
when I saw the advertisements for the show. I'm
Yeah.
like, or for the movie, technically, I was like, this is marketed toward the P word.
Yeah, I'm not. And I don't. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just me personally. I'm not really with all some of those dance moves and some of these
Yeah.
dance troops. I'm not.
Look,
It's just my preference. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I'm used to the Cotton Eye Joe dance where you put both your fists down and you start doing the weird ass long song. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like that's
no,
my kind of dancing. Anything else beyond that, anything riskier than that is like.
But and
Thank you.
and this is just for minors. I'm just thinking we've got some little kids that are doing some of these
Mhm.
dances. And I know I'm about to make somebody make some people mad. I've done that a lot more lately, but I don't necessarily agree with some of these songs that we allow that are our little girls and young men to listen to. Like, I just
Dude,
particularly don't.
that is a huge thing. And then on the backside of that, some of the things that we as parents are listening to with our kids in the car.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
I've got daughters, right? And I can't understand the thought process of some men in the car driving your daughter around, especially younger daughter, with music degrading women or talking about, abusing women. Like, what is that putting in your kid's head?
yeah.
And then she goes ahead and she doesn't see any red flags. And next thing you know, she's part of the statistic,
Yeah,
especially the negative statistic of Flint.
and this I'm probably showing my age now, but I'm used to, you know, grandma, big mama, my mom even too, you know, not even coming out the bedroom until she had made her face up. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
like, you know, it's like, wait, don't come back here yet. I ain't dressed. And it's like, wait a minute, you got clothes, but she, you know, taking the rollers out of her hair, not. And this is again, I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to offend anybody. That's just, you know, I guess that's just my, you know, my old age is just, you know, I'm stuck in my old age, and certain things you'll never see me do, or
right.
you know, I won't
Like
allow my kids to do, or
I'm newer age on a lot of things. So my dad didn't let me play certain games until
right,
I
mine
was
too.
13,
Yeah,
14.
yeah,
I was letting my kids play Call of Duty, World of Tanks, things like that at like 9, 10.
yeah,
You know, as long
yeah,
as it wasn't showing bouncing bosoms or X, Y, and Z, and as long as whatever violence there may be wasn't too graphic, all right, cool. Go for it, kids, because that's all games are designed for these days.
yeah.
Uh, luckily my oldest.
But you know what? Is that Taka? I don't want to say it wrong. Taka, that you're exactly right. You're exactly right. They're
Yeah.
going to hear it, and that's one of the things that, you know, my whole issue with the music industry. You know, I don't particularly care for. I mean, I'll listen to it because I want to stay. You know, I'm an educator. I work with kids a lot. You
Hmm.
know, so I want to stay hip to what's going on. I want to stay hip to the lingo. I want to stay hip to, you know.
I can understand that. Like,
But
I don't.
the some of the influences that we have, you know, that the most influential musicians that they, you know, what the message that they putting out is my issue.
Well, that and like we as parents, we don't have to restrict what our kids listen to. Yeah, monitor it, like that person has said.
Yeah.
However, we have to more monitor ourselves, right? So I listen to a lot of metal, a lot of hard rock thing, alternative rock, things like that. Things on a depressing tone when my kids were younger were off limits to me.
Mhm.
And I don't mean off limits to my kids, I mean off limits to me. Or things like Prodigy, Smack My Bitch Up. That was a decently big song back in the day. I didn't like it, but that is something I could never listen to in front of my kids ever.
Yeah.
It's less about restricting what our kids do because they have to find themselves at some point.
And
It's
and you're
restricting ourselves as adults to set that proper example.
you're and you're exactly right. You are exactly right. I just it's just I don't know. I remember, and this is and I remember I remember I used to be big on the Dayton Family, like huge. I was a shoestring and Ira Dorsey fan. Like I swear, like you couldn't have it ain't one song you can throw in any song right now, and I'm rapping right with them like I was, you know. But I remember when I first started driving, like 15, 14, my mom would like send me to the store,
Mhm.
and I put my little CD or my little you know, gray record, gray cassette tape in the
Yeah, that
tape
would
deck.
hook up to your
Yeah,
CD player.
yeah, so I
I
remember
love those
that, and
things.
I remember, you know, a couple times leaving the CD in the player, and we get in the car. One time we got in the car to go to church, and it was, oh, hi, come on, Mick. What up? If you from Flint, get up your seat, drink that brew, and smoke that grass,
Oh
and,
my
we on our way to church. So my mom, oh my god,
No!
I never forget that in my life.
Oh
And we
man.
was going down Clio Road, and man, that CD went right out the window. Like it was so many times that my parents threw away CDs because I left them in the car, and it wasn't even like, you know, some of the music is now. I remember the first raunchy, you know, it was like Lil Kim and, you know, stuff. When she started rapping about stuff, like now you hear the Cardi B's and the stuff like
Oh,
that.
they didn't want Rochester.
Yeah, yeah.
Ratcheter, my
So
bad.
now it's like, you know, I would be, you know, when Lil Kim would come on 92.7, and they would still wouldn't have it, they would have a clean, somewhat clean
Yeah.
version on, but you still, when I'm in the car listening with my mom, it's like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, don't say
She
it.
said it.
They said it, they let her say it.
Oh god.
Yeah.
You know, but
Man,
you know, it's just, you know, the way that the music that they listen to now is influencing these kids,
dude.
you know, and not in so much in the best way. And that's, you know,
Speaking of those, the last ass beating I got from my mom, I was 18 years old. We
man, you
had,
got a whooping at 18?
yeah, Yeah. My mom was 5'4". I knew better than to touch her.
Yeah.
Because then my dad would come home and beat me with a fucking pipe wrench. Anyway, so I was at a park next to my house. I get in my friend's car. We go for a drive. He has a couple friends with us, and he wants to show off his mom's new Intrepid. Tries taking a turn too fast. The turn doesn't happen. He kind of goes into a wall.
Oh yeah.
I call my mom. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, I'm okay. I was just in a car accident, not with our car. You need to pick up the van at the park." She goes, "Okay." She gets in the van, turns it on, full blast Slipknot.
Yeah.
She's like, "That devil music!" Pop, pop, pop. As she's driving me to the hospital, get checked for a concussion, she just slapped the hell out of me anyway.
Yeah. No, my last whooping was at 14 in the 9th grade, and I didn't even do nothing. And after my dad found out that I didn't do what he thought I did, he was like, "Well, you're gonna do something next week, so that's for that." That's for that. But yeah, no, hey, thanks for having me back, man. It's like I've been gone for a minute.
Same.
Been going through some family stuff, man. My parents getting old, and some things that y'all know that circle of life thing, man. It's real, and it's you never know how real it is till it hits home. So just love on your parents, man, because every day counted. I mean, every day ain't promised, whatever.
Right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think those are a great circumstitious show for the start of the year. Let's keep it up.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for joining in and all your comments and participation. It does mean a hell of a lot to us. It means a lot to the channel.
My bad. What are you doing before you
cross
out?
Now that was it. All I had.
Oh yeah, just stay tuned to. We got some big things coming up with the Flint schools. Like I know. I'm not talking about we not banning nothing else. You know what I'm saying? We not taking nothing else away. We about to add some. We about to do some big things though.
Dollar says he's going to ban 8-10 in schools.
Yeah, we got some big things coming, man, with our athletic program. So just stay tuned.
Oh, that's what's up.
I ain't gonna really say too much because it's not. We still doing some baseline negotiating, but it's gonna be some big things. So stay tuned.
Thank you guys. Mickey, I think that
all
was
right, then. Well, peace, family. We'll be back.